Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is Laura. So we have part two of the Old English Manor today in our building series of I don't know how many videos it's going to take to get through this whole manor. So if you watched last time, I did actually figure out, well, I didn't figure out the length for the entire build in real time. However, I think moving forward, I will do the real time for like each part. So this part, before I sped it up, took an hour and 51 minutes. So almost 2 hours to just build this part, which is really sad because it doesn't actually, I feel like there's not that much done in it. I mean, I did finish like the layout and for upstairs and downstairs, and I furnished one room in its entirety, I think. So that's what we got here. Um, I should note that there seemed to have been a little bit of footage missing. And I say a little bit because it seems like it was just the time where I built the staircases. So I don't know if you can tell by the way that the camera is flipping around, but I have a unique like stairway situation. So there's stairs leading down from the front door right there because I cut into the basement to be able to make an L-shaped staircase. And I did this because the person that requested this build in the first place had asked for one if I could figure out how to do it in the way that, is available on a lot of tutorials now, like a really nice L-shaped. There's like U-shaped ones too. And so I did watch several tutorials and I learned how to do it, but the problem is you need to do it before you actually start the build, like before you make the shell of the house. So you need to build the shell around the staircase, and obviously that was not what happened here. So because I tried to I built it like on the outside of the house in the front yard, and I tried to like bring it inside, and that was no go. I spent way too long trying to figure out how I could move it inside, and I honestly don't think you can. Um, in the tutorials that I saw, everybody started with just the staircase and then built the house around it too. So I don't know if there's a way to do it um, inside or to move it inside. If any of you awesome YouTuber simmers know, please let me know so I could do that in future builds. But I don't think there's a way. So right now, this is another thing I spent too much time on was trying to figure out like I had to make sure that there was flooring above the stairs, and then I blocked off the bottom wall, like walled it off there in between the stairs. Then for some reason I put the railing in the wrong spot at first. I don't know why. I feel like I did that in my Pride build too. You'd think I would have learned from this one because I built this house first. Like that makes no sense. I'm hoping that you're not hearing me breathe on the mic. I'm trying to like find the right positioning for it so that my voice is louder, but I'm not like causing a lot of breathing noises like when I laugh or whatever. So I'm also, I feel like trying to hold my laughs in a little bit, like make them quieter. I'm trying to say quieter while not getting quieter, right? So that's just a little interesting tidbit. I am going to have to invest in a better mic at some point. I know when I posted on the Sims streamers and YouTubers group for the review day, somebody did say like I should get a different mic. But that's actually the only person that remarked about the mic quality at all. So I'm hoping, I mean, it's not terrible. I've definitely heard worse. I even just watched this stream the other day where it was like horrible. But so it's not that bad. I feel like it's when I pronounce my S's. I didn't want it to like sound super awful when I said that. And if I laugh or breathe too loud. So it's not terrible. It's not terrible at all. But I feel like I might pick like a certain number of subscribers if I even get any more. So that to kind of like celebrate with getting a better mic. I feel like that maybe that'll be my first like milestone celebration. Again, if I get any, or if I get any milestones. I mean, I hit 25, so that was good. Very excited about that. Not undermining that at all. For a while, I was like, I'm not gonna get past like 7. Like, there's no way. Nobody's interested. There's like a million other simmer YouTubers out there, so why would I make any impact, right? Well, apparently some people like it, right? You're here, so you must like it. I think I mentioned before that this is part of a series, so if you haven't seen the other 2 parts, like if you're, wait, no, 1 part, sorry. This is the second part. If you haven't seen that, because you're just tuning in, please go check that out so you can, make some sense of how I built the house and everything. So this area is pretty cool. I, well, it was caused by accident really because I talked about in the last video how the trim on the outside here, on the exterior, like bleeds through, not bleeds through, that is not the right thing to say. I don't know. I don't know how to describe that. Uh, but it goes through to the inside for some reason in select areas. I don't know what kind of like coding is behind that, but it doesn't seem to be like any rhyme or reason to that I'm aware of. So I had to actually add a bunch of trim to the inside too in that upper, like, it's not a loft, but it kind of is because it's like open to the like 2-story entryway there. But I added the trim to that, and I think like part of the hallway in between the suites upstairs to try to fix that. So anyway, the me adding that exterior trim on the inside created like a space on top of the like foundation from the front door. You see how there's like the trim above that? It created a space upstairs too, so I put a foundation down there and I just made it like a little feature area. I put the statue of the ballerina up there. I actually think it looked pretty cute. And it corresponds with the room that's in the, it's not a loft area, I don't know what else to call it. But I just basically made it like a sitting room up there, like just a big sitting room with a bunch of art in it. There's I want to say there's 4 like statues on the half wall near the stairs on the upstairs. So it, you know, complemented the ballerina statue on the other side. Uh, so right now I am just kind of figuring out like what room is going to be what. I put down like a few pieces of furniture just to kind of identify what room was going to be what room. I think that I might have taken a break sometime after that because I remember wanting to remind myself like this is going to be the study, this is going to be the library because there is a separate dedicated library from the study. Definitely not. I mean, it's literally just bookshelves and seating for you to read in there. So, but yeah, I think I just put a bunch of random stuff down so that I would remember later what my intention was. I didn't want to lose my vision because I had to step away and like actually do real life. So yeah, the room in the back left corner is one of my favorites because it's the secret room. It's the little room that you can access by those secret bookshelf doors, which I absolutely love. And you can access it from the great room, which is the room at the back here with the 3 doors to the outside, and from the study. Originally, I had put that rock climbing thing in that room. That's going to be the study. And I know you're saying like rock climbing wall, like what? Did I say rock climbing room before? I don't even know. But rock climbing wall, like why would that be in an old English manor? My thought was that, this guy who just inherited the money and the house would be coming in and adding some modern touches to it. So, and I needed to use the space. Like I needed to have a gym. In a mansion this big, in these times, like, why wouldn't you have a gym, right? So that was my thought, was that he came in and added some stuff. Um, there's only a few, though, like modern touches. So there is a small TV in the great room because my thought was that that's not the focus of that room. It's really meant to be like a gathering space for like their little soirees or parties or whatever you want to call it. Uh, it occurred to me later that like I could have done a ballroom in this place, uh, but I also was thinking like you could make the great room sort of like a ballroom if you wanted to, because it does end up having like a jukebox and an old record player in there, and you could just take out the like statues that I ended up putting in there in the middle, so there would be like a perfect space for it. But anyway, back to the modern touches. So yeah, I had the gym. Oh, there's a big TV in the gym because I felt like that was the area that he was really um, doing the most work in, would be the gym. I mean, work to the house, like updating it and whatever. Not that he's like major workout-aholic. Workout-aholic. I don't even know what I'm saying. Also, this is the second time I've recorded this because apparently Audacity decided not to work on me the first time. And I'm saying completely different stuff this time around, so that's interesting. Um, for the third time, back to the modern touches, the only other thing was a computer in this study, and I just did one. So again, it's not like the main focus of the living spaces. So yeah, I'm just putting some little balconies here on the outside. So the big balcony is off of that sitting room that I told you about, and the other balcony is off the master, because obviously. I didn't even talk about the master yet. It's massive. I mean, I guess it's in proportion to the rest of the house, but it is separated into 6 different rooms. So you walk into like this little sitting room, another sitting room. I feel like I have like 3 partial sitting rooms, but I also feel like that's common in like, or they call it like a parlor. That's the word I was looking for, like a parlor in those old-fashioned homes and like palaces and castles and stuff. So you walk into the master into this little sitting room, and I put a writing desk in there too, I believe. So kind of, has more than one purpose for once. A lot of these rooms, I feel like in the old-fashioned homes, are only like one purpose and everything's closed off. Obviously, I was going to make an open floor plan for this. So anyway, you walk into the sitting room of the master, and then beyond that is the actual master bedroom. And they have his and hers bathrooms and his and hers closets, which are massive. Like this whole space on the right ends up being the master suite. And then there's 4 more suites. So I designed the 2 next to the master for children, but it's not like a typical kid's room at all. Like it's definitely like a more mature looking kid's room. Like there are toys and stuff, but there's not a lot of like crazy decorations or like void critters or anything like that. It's very kind of like I'm trying to make everything like match or complement each other, not all these like crazy colors like I might normally do in a kid's room. So it's different. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out the layout. This is the master suite that we're looking at right now. So I'm just trying to figure out the layout um, to have like the bathrooms and the wardrobe that I wanted, because this is on the diagonal part of the house. So it was a little bit interesting trying to play with the walls. I think there's like 2 or 3 areas where I actually just cut off, like walled off a little triangle or whatever shape it was, just because I knew that see, there's already 2. It might just be 2. If you can see the little triangles there on the floor plan, because I just didn't want it to be like this weird, tiny, like triangle corner in the room. So I feel like they do that in real life too. Like there's a tiny little corners sometimes where they just wall them off. But yeah, so there's the master the two suites for children that I would assume live there, and then two guest suites, which are on the left side of the house. And I tried to design the four other suites besides the master in the same way. They all have their own bathroom, obviously, because it's a suite. But I think originally I was going to use like the same wallpaper, but in different swatches in each one. I think I used them in at least two, but then I ended up changing because I didn't like the colors, and they're all different colors too. I actually made one of the guest suites is like black and red, very vampire looking. I don't know how that happened, but it ended up looking good. I want to say, I can't remember. I think that I made like a little girl's room and little boy's room. And I think the little girl's room is like mostly white, and then the boys is like blue, blue and gray or blue and black, like something like that. Um, and then so there was like the vampire looking guest suite, and then a mostly brown and like beige guest suite. So right now I was just trying to figure out the wallpaper for the great room over here, which, you know what, to be perfectly honest, I'm not 100% sure what I ended up with here, but I used a lot of like the wallpapers from like actually I used a lot of items from the Vampire Pack and from the vintage one and some stuff, actually a good number of stuff from Get Famous in like the bathrooms of the master are pretty gaudy. I use like all that stuff, like the whole theme of the bathroom there. I shouldn't be talking about that now because I feel like what am I going to talk about when I'm actually building it? Well, I guess I'll have to figure that out when I come to it. So anyway, yeah, I was just working on the wallpapers like in the downstairs here. I oh, I guess that's the wallpaper I ended up staying with. Uh, so I think I used yeah, I used a rug and then like an overlay here to make it look more fancy. Um, I don't know why. Sometimes that stuff is so hard to pick up from the ground. I think you didn't see it because I sped up the video, but I usually have a hard time with some of the like bigger rugs. I don't know why. They just like don't want to come up from the ground, and I end up smashing the floor trying to get them to come out. But yeah, so in the great room right now, I ended up adding this little bar area, but I put it on a diagonal at the end, which I thought looked better. And I wanted to include these little seating areas because, like I said, this is the great room. I felt like this would be the place where they would be gathering with friends or dignitaries or other, nobility or whatever. So I wanted to have a lot of seating, and I have the different music options, like I said, the record player, and a jukebox. Nothing new, no new type of radios. Um, because I felt like even though this guy would come in and add some modern touches for convenience, he is still very much like honoring the tradition and like, well, the traditional decor of the place. Maybe because it's been in his family for, since it was built or whatever. So I didn't change everything. Like I said, I didn't do an updated radio because there were older options. Now, obviously, the TVs, they weren't around when this was built, so it didn't. But he chose the smaller TV for the great room, and well, I did, but in my vision, he did. So this is what I was talking about earlier when I said, there's a bunch of art in this area that really could be cleared out pretty easily to do um, a dance floor or like sort of makeshift ballroom, whatever, because you've just got the couches on one side, the bar on the other, and the little seating tables. And yeah, you could just cut out the art here and do some dancing. You could even put a dance floor down if you wanted to have the Sims specifically dance in that area. But the record player is pretty close, so they would probably end up being in that area anyway. I tried to make it a little fancier by putting some rugs underneath the art. I think, but then I was like, that's too many rugs. Like, it looks kind of silly. I think I kept the ones No, I deleted those and I ended up doing one big rug for the uh, art in the middle, the statues. There ends up being a lot of statues in this house, actually. So there's the three here, and then I think, like I said, there was four upstairs in that parlor area, and the one in the that space over the front door. I still don't know what to call that. If you do, let me know in the comments. That would be cool. I was trying to use that little lantern thing, but it doesn't give off enough light. So, and that was a problem too in lighting all these rooms because they're so massive. I don't really like to put like the wall sconces on a lot, but I had to in this house because the rooms are just too big for like one, dangling light or chandelier or whatever. I had to make sure I put in these chandeliers, obviously. And they're candles too, so pretty close, to the time for those. I didn't do that everywhere. I mean, my thought was, at some point the house has been renovated to a certain extent, like to put in electricity. So, we would have these light fixtures here, and I mean the sconces are electric too. They're not candles, so I guess I could have done candles because they do have like the candle wall lights, but eh, I feel like these were fine. So yeah, I'm just changing the bar area to the diagonal now. Like I said, I need to stop like getting ahead of myself in my descriptions. I felt like that quilt would be cool to add because I imagined that like that's the family crest. So of course it would be like hanging huge in the main great room here. So that was cool. And yeah, I tried to add some decor like the swords on the wall that were, you know, indicative of the time. I ended up changing it though for like I think it's called like a coat of arms, I want to say. No. Yeah, those. What are, I want to say it said coat of arms and swords or something. Anyway, and the ship, obviously, that was super appropriate to put there. Just a bunch of like antique looking paintings on the walls. I don't know why it was at this point that I decided to change the fencing to the hedges, but it definitely looks a lot better, right? So I kept the gates though. I thought those were cute. I love, you see those three bookshelves? Those are the doors, the secret doors to the secret room. When I was building it, I almost imagined like that would be like a prohibition era type room, but obviously it's not in the right country and like I don't know. But that was kind of what I was imagining when I was building it anyway. So just my, frame of mind there. Yeah, so I actually did something a little different in this build where I started doing clutter. Um, it like I build the rooms basically one room at a time instead of like how I normally go in and do the furniture in all the rooms and like wallpaper and whatever. And then I go back and do like art and clutter and landscaping usually comes before clutter, but uh, I usually kind of go in that way. So by category and not by room. But for this build, I guess just because it's so massive, I ended up doing everything at once. I just kind of wanted to be like one and done. Like get one room done at a time and then be done with it. It's just so much time on one room, right? I don't want to come back to it. And there were a few clutter items that I went like back and forth. I think between like this room and the kitchen, because I changed my mind about where it should go. But I'm pretty sure the tea kettle and the tea like bags stay over there. Oh, the plants was another thing I kind of struggled with in this build because some of the pots don't look very um, well, they look pretty modern, a lot of them. So, but I did find like this bouquet in a vase type thing that went pretty well. I think I used that in multiple rooms. But we actually are coming up on the end of this video already. So if you liked the video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing that so that you can watch the rest of the series and everything else that I post. So thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.